Knowing the difference between a clean and a dirty filter is fairly obvious, but things tend to get a little bit more difficult when these things are not in your line of sight, when they're behind a metal enclosure and in a place you can't see. My project FilterEye helps people know exactly when to change their filters, whether it's dirty or it's clean. People usually change their filters too infrequently, causing an increase of energy consumption because according to the Department of Energy, dirty filters actually increase energy consumption by 5 to 15%. But it also could be a health hazard because it doesn't filter out dangerous particles as well. Or people change their filters too frequently when they basically have a new filter in there, but they change it anyways. This causes people to waste money on filters and time changing out a filter that is perfectly good to use. This is the full FilterEye unit. It consists of 2 DPS 310 pressure sensors, 1 light sensor, and 1 NRF Bluetooth low energy unit. All of these work together to figure out whether or not your filter is dirty. So without further ado, let's get to the demo. So FilterEye uses pressure drop and a light sensor to see if the filter is dirty. So the light sensor is kind of how your human eyes work. How dark is the filter? But the other one is the pressure drop. So basically you'll have a pressure sensor on both sides of the filter, and on one side the pressure is lower than the other. So you can use that to see how clogged the filter is because that number changes depending on how clogged the filter is. So right now what I did is I just calibrated it. So it's going to zero out all the numbers. So any of the atmospheric pressure, all of that, it's going to get zeroed out. Then I'm going to turn on the fan. So basically you can kind of see that in a clean filter, when the filter is clean, the app won't get triggered. So after this goes in, and you turn it off, that was sped up just for time's sake, you can see that the app says the filter is still acceptable. So now I'm going to change out the filter to a dirty filter. In real life, you wouldn't be switching the filter. It'd just be the same filter getting dirty over time. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and clip the FilterEye onto the new filter and plug the other side to the other pressure sensor. That way we can see the pressure drop and the pressure on both sides. So I'm going to put the lid back on, and then I'm going to turn it on. So this time it's sped up again, but this time you're going to hear a beep. And there it was. So basically, after you heard the beep, it basically means that, oh, the filter is dirty. And you can see the app says filter need or change filter. So now to give you an idea of how little power FilterEye actually uses, here I have an oscilloscope which plots the power over time, and I have a current ranger which tells you the instantaneous current. Here is a breadboard view of the entire FilterEye unit. So right now, because the light's on, it's in the wake power mode. So you can see it uses about 10 milliamps. And then when it beeps, it uses anywhere from 19 to 30 milliamps. But then when it's sleeping, which is in this mode, it uses less than 1 microamp. So it really uses very little power so that it can last for more than a year in your filter. I hope that gave you a good idea of how FilterEye works. And I truly believe that if this project is widely adopted, it can decrease the amount of energy that we waste on our heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems.